What is going on, people? This is the JT Sports Show. We are back. It has been a long 2 months. I don't believe we have recorded. The Wolves regular season was still going on the last time we recorded. Yes, it was the end of the regular season. Playoffs hadn't started because
we didn't do any playoffs.
We didn't because I was thinking, well, should we? And then my computer broke and I got too lazy. But I made my way to the Apple store. I got a new charger. As simple as that, and we are back. This is episode 39. I think we got to get to 100 by the time the new year starts. We got to get this going.
No, that'll happen because we're going to be doing, for the listeners out there, we're going to be doing every single Vikings game, obviously, like we did last year.
Yep.
And hopefully Twins playoffs.
Yep.
As of now. And, the Wolves will be.
Yeah, right now, there's not a lot to talk about in terms of current events besides the Twins, but there's a lot to talk about with what has happened in the last 2 months that we've missed. But in the next couple of months, you got Vikings starting, Wolves starting, Twins playoffs, and I guess the Wild are starting as well.
And actually, the Vikings start next week, but yeah.
Yeah, right. Training camp starts, and we'll talk a little bit about that soon. But the hot topic right now in the streets is the old quarterback on Netflix. And Jackson, I'm sure you've watched it. I have watched it. I think we should get our takeaways out on what you think of the Kirk part. And in when I talk about it, I think it's going to mesh a little bit with what I thought about Mahomes too, because I think there's some parallels and whatever the opposite of parallel is between Kirk and Patrick Mahomes. But I'm going to give you the floor first. What were your thoughts on the whole thing, whether it's Kirk or any of it?
Yeah. Well, thanks, John. My takeaway would be, I loved it. I loved every single minute of it. Such a great show. It kind of just further proved why I've been such a big Kirk fan for the last 4 or 5 years and why I have always been one of his biggest defenders, even when it wasn't very popular to be a Kirk defender. It showed how tough he is, how good of a passer he is, how serious he takes it, how dedicated he is, how great of a guy he is, how great of a dad he is, how great of a husband he is, how great of a teammate he is. Just everything was awesome. I love him and KOC's relationship.
Yep.
Throughout the episodes, it was awesome. And I think I knew that he was competitive, but it really does show that that guy wants to win. So like people talk about his stats and like, oh yeah, Kirk is just empty stats. He couldn't give a crap about that.
Yeah.
All he cares about is winning. And I mean, what a season to follow Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Special season.
Right when they brought up the fact that this happened, like nobody knew about it, obviously. And I was super excited because it was a crazy season. My main takeaway, I agree with everything. And I think it shed a light on a lot of positives regarding Kirk Cousins.
Yes.
Kirk obviously has a lot of haters, and for good reason. Like he hasn't shown up in huge moments, and he has at times, but he also hasn't at times. But Kirk took more hits than any quarterback, and I thought they did a good job of showing that. He was clearly hurt more than anybody thought with his ribs. The one thing that I took away from it, because they showed so much of Patrick Mahomes, is they're different, and there's a reason Patrick Mahomes is a lot better than Kirk Cousins. It's as simple as Kirk has a bad series. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He wants to go into a shell. I don't know if you agree with this. Like this, I just felt this way. Like KOC is always going up to him and saying, "It's okay.
Yeah,
just trust me. It's okay."
Yeah.
Kirk doesn't do that. As if like Patrick Mahomes, if he's the one, he's going up and down the sidelines. He's telling everybody it's going to be all right, and then it usually is all right. So I think that's a difference between the two.
I agree.
Patrick Mahomes is obviously way more talented than Kirk, but there shouldn't be that big of a difference. Like Kirk takes it just as serious. I mean,
dedication, same.
Like, yeah, I mean, if not more. Like Kirk is doing everything he can every minute of the day, besides Tuesdays, obviously. So I don't know. I mean, I like Kirk, and I think this helped his status in terms of the fans and the public opinion. So
One thing I'll add though, I think he'll get better with that with a second year under KOC. With Zimmer, that is I mean, I feel like that's understandable that he's like that after having Zimmer for 4 years. And now maybe the KOC positivity and just relax, like, will probably serve him well for next year, and he'll probably get better at that. But
yeah, it would have been really interesting to see this during a Zimmer team year versus what KOC brought, because like, who's he talking to on the sideline when Mike Zimmer's the head coach? Like, just the quarterback coach? Yeah, I don't know. And then he goes back out for the next series and he's still pissed off, whereas KOC can sort of calm him down. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a good series though. Do you think it was better than Hard Knocks?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it was like Vikings Hard Knocks,
it depends on the team. Yes, of course. It depends on the team. If the Vikings got Hard Knocks with this regime, that'd be better. But
if it was Patrick Mahomes, Jared Goff, and Marcus Mariota, I probably wouldn't be. I'd watch it, but I don't think I'd be that interested.
Yeah, but I think it was a good show. Even Mahomes' parts I liked. Mariota's parts were good. Like, there wasn't a part where I was like, "Oh, this sucks." Like, no, it was a good show. Good episodes.
I forget. Are you a Mahomes guy?
I like him. Yeah.
Did you like him more after this?
Opinion didn't change.
Yeah, I wasn't a huge Mahomes fan, but I think I like him more now.
Like, I've always liked Mahomes. I've never had any issues with him ever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I haven't really had issues. He's fantastic to watch, but I thought he was, I don't know, Kermit the Frog. He talks like Kermit the Frog. It's a little much. Yeah. But I don't know. There's a lot of wives in this too. Yeah. And what are your thoughts on Julie Cousins and Brittany Mahomes?
Julie's great. She's a very supportive wife.
Yeah.
She seems awesome. Brittany, a little annoying, but yeah, we can let it slide.
She was about what I thought she would be.
Yeah, same.
All right. Before we move on to the Wolves, the Vikings training camp does start.
Yeah.
The big question is regarding Danielle Hunter. What are your thoughts there? Like, do you think they should overpay a little and just guarantee the fact that he comes back for a year? Do you think they should let him go, like trade him for probably like a second-round pick? Like, I don't think you get a first for him. That's just how the NFL works. Or do you think they try and sign him for multi-year contract?
I think I want us to do 1 year. I want us to do 1 year. 1 year, let him prove himself. Let him get the Donatel taste out of his mouth. Let him be with the hungry Brian Flores defense that I can't wait for, by the way. And let him be back to where he was in 2019 and 2018, 2019, 2020, he kind of got hurt. But let him get back to that. I think Flores will bring it out of him, get him 1 year deal, and maybe overpay for the 1 year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I that's what I would do. I want to see him stay. I'm just so excited for training camp. I can't wait.
My whole bit with Danielle is like, we're not in a tanking mode. And if you get rid of Danielle, the defense, obviously we have Brian Flores now, and he's probably light years better than Ed Donatel. But in terms of the roster, like, if we don't have Danielle Hunter, our D-line is going to suck. And our linebackers aren't going to be very good. Jordan Hicks, I don't even know who the other linebacker is. Our cornerbacks are super young. They have talent.
They'll be hungry.
Like Byron Murphy. I like that addition.
Yeah.
Caleb Evans, I think he has something. I'm not high on Andrew Booth.
We need Booth. This is the year. This is kind of the what do you have?
Yeah. And then Harrison Smith he's a really good player. I really like him. He's also 1 year. He's also 1 year older. And then Cam Bynum, I don't think he's very good. So
Lewis Cine.
Yeah, Lewis Cine. To me, Lewis Cine's more of an athlete. I'm not sure how much. I don't know what to think of him. I really don't.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah,
I just can't wait to watch Flores' defense. It's going to be aggressive finally.
Maybe
we can blitz the quarterback from time to time.
That would be great, but who's blitzing?
We'll have guys.
The issue is if you're blitzing, you need guys to cover on the outside. Do we have that? Yet to be known.
Well, we'll see.
I think our offense is going to be
our
really
defense
good.
is going to be good.
Our offense might even be better this year.
Yeah.
And sure, Alex Madison versus Dalvin. Like, I don't think that makes much of a difference. And Jordan Addison versus Thielen.
That makes a difference.
Much. You think Addison's better?
Upgrade.
Really?
Faster.
All right. I'm here for
More
it.
hungry.
I think he has talent.
What?
I think he has talent. I'm here for the Jordan Addison, and then KJ. I think KJ Osborne's really good.
And now KJ's been here for a full year. I think we got him in what, like mid-October, late October last year. Now he's here starting week 1.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
This is good.
And obviously TJ Hawkinson. He's for whatever reason.
That's what I meant to say. Did I say KJ?
Yeah.
Oh I'm sorry. TJ Hawkinson. You got JJ, KJ, and TJ. I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
TJ's here. He'll be here week 1. And he, like I said, full year of him. KJ is a great number 3. I mean, he doesn't get all the buzz, but on all these lists, it's like, oh, who are the top duos? Who's the best receiver duo? It's like, we have the best receiver in the league for one.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a first-round pick who many are saying was the best receiver in that draft.
Yeah.
And then we have an excellent number 3 receiver, but we don't get any love. But that's okay.
What do you think our offensive? What do you think our offensive line looks like? Do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, our tackles are good. Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill.
Bradbury had a good season last year, which is why we retained him.
He's all right.
True.
He's not the liability that he used to be.
Yeah.
Right guard is an issue at Ingram.
It's an issue. It is an issue.
And left guard is somewhat of an issue. Ezra Cleveland is mad.
Cleveland's okay.
Yeah. But listen, there's a reason Kirk led the league in hits.
Ingram is a problem.
It's not all on Ed Ingram.
It's a little bit on Cleveland too. Yes.
And a little bit on Bradbury too.
He had a good season. He just did. We wouldn't have re-signed him if he didn't have a good year.
I don't know. He's not as bad as he used to be. I'll give you that.
That's true.
All right. Let's move on. The Timberwolves. A lot has gone on. Obviously, like I said, we haven't talked on this podcast since, me and you have talked way too much about this team. But on this podcast, we have not talked since the season ended.
Which is crazy to say. Honestly.
We obviously lost to the Denver Nuggets, if you missed it.
For the listeners out there, if you haven't paid attention to the Wolves since this podcast, the Wolves beat the Pelicans in a thrilling game 82 where Rudy punched Kyle Anderson. And Ant brought us back from the dead. We made the play-in game, lost to the Lakers, beat the Thunder, and then lost in 5 games to the Denver Nuggets. And
listen, this team is entertainment. They bring drama on a daily basis. They give you talking points. All right. Naz Reid. We signed him before other teams probably had their choice at trying to get him. Like Naz Reid signed before the free agency started. We got him at what, 13, 14 mil a year?
3 times 42. So.
2-year deal, or 2 years and then a team option for the third. Is that correct?
Or is it player option?
It's one of the two. Either way, I think it's a pretty good deal. It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. This team is going to look a lot different in 2 to 3 years. It just always does. 2 to 3 years in the NBA is like a freaking decade in other sports with the turnover. But the question begins there with Naz Reid. He's obviously the third center, and you're now paying $100 million, right? $100 million to 3 centers.
Yeah, it's bad. Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the cat thing. Let's just hang on here for a second. We're happy about Naz Reid. There's not a bad thing to say about Naz Reid, besides the fact that he does foul a bit too much. Well, his defense leaves a little bit to be desired, but his offensive bag is deep.
Naz is, both of our favorite player. Well, one of our favorite players going back years. Yeah. I don't think anyone's higher on Naz than the two of us. So we are so happy about this deal. He's a great locker room guy.
Yep.
And he's undrafted, and he's only 23 years old. I was just overjoyed when I had the news because I was nervous about it. And I was nervous about it during the season, but as we kept coming to the free agency, you and I were both actually pretty confident that he was going to stay.
Yeah, but I never got my. I felt like it was probably going to happen just the way he was talking and how Ant and Jaden were always talking about how they're recruiting him to come back. Like I thought it was going to happen, and they had like it made sense in terms of salary.
Yes.
Anthony Edwards then signed a 5-year, $217 million extension with the ability to put that up to 260 if he makes All NBA this year and only this year, which is important because I feel like we might see a crazy Anthony Edwards to start the season, especially since he's going to be in the FIBA and he's going to be in good shape for the first time in his career to start a season, maybe. Like this is easily going to be the best shape he's coming into training camp with. And I'm hoping he stays healthy in the FIBA.
Mm-hmm.
But your thoughts on the Anthony Edwards extension? Obviously, it was almost a 99.999 guarantee that it was going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just one more quick thing on Naz.
Sure.
We texted that night, and we were talking about like the future of the team and how happy we're that we got him. And we said we think his ceiling is like like 6th man of the year, like best bench guy on a championship team. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to let the audience know that
he's got a bit to go there. Obviously,
yeah, like he's 23 and he is electric off the bench. Like, why can't he be Bobby Portis for the Bucks in like 2 or 3 years? He can.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Anyway, on Ant,
real quick. Well, yeah, go ahead on Ant. On Ant.
Yeah, no brainer. So happy that it got done. I like the All NBA thing for this year because that means that there can't be any coming out of shape. There can't be standing in the corner for 50% of the offense possessions to start the season. Yeah. No more of that. And I texted you this also. I'm going to be a lot more hard on him now this year.
Yeah. The honeymoon is over.
Text message and over podcast. It is over. It's time now.
Yeah.
We saw how you played in the playoffs. You can do that. I mean, every game, right? If you want to.
It's up to him. It's there's no excuse that there's no room on the court. Like there's 2 centers on the court.
Yeah, I don't
want. He did it for 5 games with those 2 centers against the eventual NBA champions. That's so obviously it can be done whenever he wants to. I've said this for the last I don't know how many years. When he wants to score 30, he can score 30. It's just he doesn't always choose to do it.
And no more deferring either. You're making this money. You're the face of the front. No more deferring.
And he shouldn't want to. He shouldn't want to. Like it's up to him. If he wants another $50 million and he wants to be an All NBA player, then it's up to him if he wants to do it. Summer League. I watched probably 4.5 games.
I probably watched 1.5.
Yeah, I mean you didn't. It was pretty boring to be. It's like you're watching Summer League nowadays. You're watching like for 2 or 3 players or interviews.
That's
sure.
Right.
Like I wanted to watch Leonard Miller and I wanted to watch Josh Minot and I wanted to watch Wendell Moore. Besides that, I couldn't care less what the hell the other guys do.
That's true.
It's like winning or losing doesn't matter at all.
Yep.
Leonard Miller was the bright spot. Josh Minot was a bit of a disappointment in my opinion.
Yeah, he was good. I think he was.
I had higher expectations. He kept complaining about like the start times of the games. Like what the
Wasn't
hell
that one time?
He said it. He did it twice.
Oh no.
It's like, come on, quit making excuses. You're playing against guys that aren't going to be in the league. Just go drop 30. And he did it. I think he averaged like 20 points.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think after watching the Summer League, and I don't think this is I'm the only person that thinks this. Leonard Miller might be closer to being a rotation player than Josh Minot.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I don't know, he can handle the ball better. He can shoot it a little better. He plays a little more physical.
Rebound. He's going to be the best rebounder on our team. Literally.
Josh Minot is a great rebounder. So I don't know who's better.
No,
there.
I'm saying Leonard Miller, when he steps in, he's already going to be like, what, a top 2 or top 3 rebounder on our team?
Which was maybe our worst thing last year is rebounding, which makes no sense.
I don't want to speak too soon. I really don't. But this might maybe help me get over Vanderbilt a little bit.
Yeah. Well, Minot and Leonard Miller are both sort of similar. I'd say both have a better offensive game.
Yes.
Both are a little more athletic, but both could be a little better defensively to catch up to Vando.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like I said, I don't want to speak too soon. I mean, they haven't even played a game. I mean, Miller hasn't played a game yet, but hopefully he can get there in like 1 to 2 years.
The last thing on the Wolves, Jaden McDaniels has not signed a contract yet. I'm not too worried about it. Like this happens.
No.
For star players, for star players, when stuff like this happens, it's a little concerning. But for like
Jaylen Brown with the Celtics,
like a top role guy, it happens. Like they're probably trying to get a little more, and they'll probably come to a happy medium, and it'll happen. So, other than that, like Karl Anthony Towns is still on the team. There's still rumors, and I still think there's a chance. Like until Damian Lillard and James Harden are both traded, I'm not saying no. Like I still think there's a chance, just because fireworks happen in the NBA together. Like it's usually if Lillard gets traded, there's probably another thing that's going to happen a day later, and maybe another thing, because teams are like, oh my God, now they did that, now we have to do this. So I wouldn't be shocked. I still think Cat could go to the Knicks. I'm seeing Bleacher Report put stuff out that fake trades to the Rockets, which Bill Simmons also brought up. So who knows about that? If the Rockets are actually trying to win, I'm not sure Cat's the right option, but if they want to think so, they can do that. But that's about it with the Wolves. You got anything else?
Well, I know that both of us are still very disappointed that he's still on this team.
I got one more thing.
Yeah.
Over under 43.5.
Over. I think it'd be irresponsible to not.
Like I've never been more confident. Like last year's team won 42 games, and they could not have been worse.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Unfortunately, it's also the same team.
They couldn't have been worse. They hit the floor of their.
I don't know about
ability.
that. I do not want to go farther than that. Okay.
The NBA, the odds makers don't think Anthony Edwards is going to get better. They don't think Naz Reid's going to get better.
Okay. Yes, you're right now, because
the chemistry of everybody.
Like we said, it's up to Edwards now to kind of take control. So I'll agree with you on this one, and I haven't agreed with you on that point yet. That is the first time I've agreed.
I think this team could win 50 games, like fairly easily.
I don't, because I just don't see it.
They have a top 5 defensive ceiling.
You can't win with 32. You can't.
Our defense is going to be really good. As much as like early in the season, like the Wolves let up the fewest points to the Nuggets of any team the Nuggets played. Rudy, Jaden, Ant, Mike Conley is miles better than D'Lo was, which was when the defense sucked at the beginning of the season.
Cat also sucked.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker brought a very good defensive ability to like guard a top player like Jamal Murray. And the only issue is Cat. But like, and then you got like young guys that are willing to defend, like Josh Minott and Leonard Miller. So I think our defense is going to be fine. It's our offense, whether our offense can figure it out and whether we can be more efficient. Like that was our issue last year. We were a top 10 defensive team. Our offense was bottom 20.
Finch keeps, running the offense through Cat. It's really a waste of Cat's talent to put him in the corner. You know what I mean?
Okay,
he's way more than that.
Listen.
Shut up.
Listen. Would you say they ran the offense through Cat in the playoffs?
Yes, they did to start the games. And how did that work out for them? Horrible.
But yet Ant, if they ran the offense technically through Cat in those playoffs and Ant still averaged 31 points, what does that mean?
I don't know what it means. I think it means that our coach thinks that this guy is too good sometimes.
Well, Cat is a talented player. He is.
Is he a winning player? No. Are you going to win 50 games? Is he a guy that you put on your team and you say, this team's going to win 50 games? No, he's not. He's been in the league 8 years. 8 years, and he hasn't proven that he can do it.
I'm not telling you that Cat is a winning player. I'm telling you Cat is a talented player, and you would be stupid not to give him some shots.
Yeah, let him only shoot threes. Space
he sucks
floor.
Out of the corner.
Well,
like he can efficiently average 20 points. I would be cool with that if he efficiently averaged 20 points on like 11 shots a game.
Okay. All right.
And that's there's a world where that happens this year if Ant decides to be more aggressive.
All right. Like I was saying, we are very disappointed he is still on this basketball team. I think our audience knows how hideous his contract is, how he's not a winning player, actually the audience probably doesn't know about the new salary cap where it's going to be a lot harder to, spend like crazy and, not get taxed and put a winning team on the floor. A lot of teams are doing some rearranging right now, and his contract is only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. It's probably what we've discussed. It's probably top 3 worst contract in the league.
Yeah.
The worst decision you can make is pay guys like superstars who aren't superstars. You can't do it. It's bad. And not only that, he still thinks he's the best player. Well, subconsciously, he doesn't probably think it, but he doesn't want to let it go.
He says it. He says a lot of dumb things.
Yeah, it's another thing. We just don't want him around anymore. It's as simple as that. It's time to move on.
Yep.
We've been saying it for 14 months now, and we'll probably continue to say it for another 14 months because this organization cannot quit him. And you know what? That's going to be the reason this year. If the same crap happens, the same disappointment happens, then we're out next year in 6 games. It's going to be the same thing over and over again. And then next year it's going to be, Rudy, the 2 bigs didn't work, so we're going to move Rudy now. It's going to start, and on we go. On and on. Garbage.
Let's talk Twins.
Well, don't we have our list to go through?
Okay, so before this podcast, we decided we should probably rank something. So we decided to rank the coaches and the front office / GMs of each of the 4 professional sports teams in Minnesota.
Be clear on which one's which.
So first, we decided we were going to rank the coaches
separate
of the Wolves, Twins, Wild, and Vikings. Jackson, you go first.
So this is only coaches.
Okay, and then how about this? We start with number 1, and then I'll go number 1.
Sure.
Okay?
Sure. So it's coaches, and then GMs and owners are together.
Correct.
So at number 1, I have KOC.
Me too. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but go ahead.
Yeah, I love his competitiveness. Watch quarterback. Well, actually, watch any interview with him. He's a winner. Yep. He is an absolute beauty. I love the guy, and I'm so happy that he is leading our football team. Simple as that.
You could not be happier.
I couldn't. Yeah.
I can't complain about a single thing with that guy, except for one thing, which is just so minute, but it's just short.
Yes, I do.
Short distances. But that's neither here nor there. Hopefully he figures it out this year.
You want to know another cool thing, John, about KOC? He runs our offense through our best player.
Yeah.
Everything around this offense, how can this maximize Justin Jefferson? And guess what? The results spoke for themselves. Led the league, offensive player of the year, led the league in receiving yards, probably going to win offensive player of the year next year again.
Yep.
It's just what a good coach does.
Yeah. All right. Number 2. I'll go first.
Yes.
Chris Finch.
Same here.
Wow. Look at you. All right. Shocking. Quite honestly, shocking. I'll tell you why. Chris Finch, when he has a roster that fits, is a fantastic basketball coach. He is still widely regarded around the NBA league as an offensive mastermind, even though last year we were a bottom 10 offense. If you listen to the Dane Moore NBA podcast, his next podcast, he might answer this question, but I just want to talk about it real quick. Like Chris Finch, 2 years ago when we made the play-in, beat the Clippers, stood on the scorers table.
Just say playoffs. Just say when we made the playoffs.
And then last year when Cat was hurt, those 2 times, our offense took a massive step forward. And I think Chris Finch has a lot to do with that. Obviously, Anthony Edwards has a lot to do that. But I'm just saying, when he doesn't have 2 centers on the floor, he is a really good coach.
Yet,
my question is why
the 2 bigs.
why does he want to do this if this might just be making his job a lot harder?
It's a great question. It really is.
I
It's a
don't
million-dollar
know the
question.
answer. It was my question. Like, I don't know the answer to that. So I hope Dane answers it. And I don't know. He'll probably say something to do with like they did it and now he just wants to prove that it could work. I don't know. But Chris Finch is my number 2. It was kind of tough.
Look, it's not really saying much, to be completely honest with you. We know how I don't always love Finch, but there are also times, well, we kind of have a love-hate. There are times where I love Finch, and then there are times where I'm like, why are you saying this? Why are you doing this? We kind of talked about it already, but the way he kind of treats Cat, I don't like it at all. I don't like that he loves the two bigs thing so much. I don't like that he talks about how easy it's going to be. And
defend him a little bit. Can I defend him a little bit there?
Sure.
I think 95% of coaches who trashes their players? Who doesn't suck up to their players?
I'm not talking. I'm talking about in the opening 5 minutes of Game 2 of the NBA playoffs. How after a horrendous Game 1, let's go right back to him and let's run some plays through him. So that's what I'm talking about. It's the action.
I thought you were talking about what you were saying. What he says.
Well, it's both, but it's also his action. That's what I'm kind of.
His action bothers me way more than his words. His words are just blah 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 to me.
Yeah,
but I like Finchy.
Another thing is the Memphis series. I mean, the timeouts. I was at that game.
Series either way.
Well, I was stunned to see that in person. Multiple leads blown. Multiple leads last year blown. But I like him. I mean, he coaches the players hard.
He coaches Ant harder than anybody, which I respect.
Yeah. He lets his players play. Ant has developed really well under him these last couple years, knock on wood. Hopefully that continues. Same with Jaden. Same with Naz. So he's good. I mean, I like Chris.
All right, number 3. Yeah. It's Dean Evison, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I want you to take this one more.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I mean, I like Dean. Look, he's got a 600 win percentage in his 4 seasons as a Wild. He wins hockey games. He shortens his bench. He gives good answers to the media. He's a really nice guy. But the special teams in the playoffs has been a massive issue for 3 years in a row now. The penalty kill is awful. The power play is awful. Well, it's mostly the penalty kill. But look, I like Dean. I was thinking about putting him second, but just the last couple playoffs have been so disappointing with the lack of adjustments. I mean, famously, the 22 playoffs against the Blues, the Talbot and Fleury situation. Talbot was playing much better to end the season. And he went with Fleury, which is understandable for the first couple games, but then didn't go to Talbot until it was way too late for Game 6. Mistake. And like I said, the penalty kill has been terrible the last 2 years, but I like him. He's a good coach. Like I said, 600 win percentage. We just need to see it in the playoffs.
Number 4 is Rocco Baldelli, and I think we should wait. We should wait here because this is, I think Rocco.
I think that's correct.
Rocco sort of meshes with the front office over there.
Exactly.
In that
and we will get into that.
GM/front office
ownership.
Let's do correct. GM, whatever. Number 1's Vikings. I think we both have that.
Easy.
The Wilfs are great.
Close. Yep.
Kwesi is great. We don't need to talk much about that. Number 2, I have the Wild.
Same.
I don't like Bill Guerin that much. I really don't like Bill Guerin. He talks like it's woe is me and sorry. I'm sorry. Like one hand tied behind my back. We got this salary that Parisi and Suter are still taking. Look, bro, who did that? You did it. You didn't have to do that. Obviously, it's like people are like, it was probably the right move, but you can't just keep using that as an excuse. I'm sick of it.
You're right. I love how he's upfront and honest with the fans. I appreciate that. I really do.
I can appreciate it to an extent, but he almost does it too much.
Well, I'd rather take that than someone who hides in a cocoon all season and never says anything to anybody. But he wants to win. He's competitive. He's built up our farm system, our prospects to, top 5 in the league, top 3. Even last year, we were even ranked number 1. He's done a good job of that. He's built through the draft. I respect it. But I'm kind of with you on the buyouts. That set us back. This year,
Were they that bad?
Well, listen, the West was wide open this year.
Could you not trade them for just chump change?
Well, the salary, look, it's a bad situation that he was in the first place. We should acknowledge that. But, the West was wide open this year. I don't know, but he still kind of had to do it. But I do agree he kind of does use it as an excuse when he's the one that did it. He's had a couple hit and miss trades, but the Talbot for Gustafson trade was awesome. But he's also had some misses, like the Stahl for Johansson trade. What else? The Fiala for Faber in the first round pick, that was solid. I loved Fiala. I wanted to keep him. What else? I can't think of.
That's fine. Right now, and the reason I had them too is just because they haven't been a dumpster fire of a franchise.
Yes. Yeah. And Leopold is a good owner and he wants to win. So,
yeah. So you can ask for. Number 3, I have the Timberwolves.
Me too.
Listen, Tim Connolly is a smart man, except for one move. Besides that, he is quite honestly
and one non-move.
He is yet. Quite honestly, he has almost batted 1,000 besides the Rudy Gobert trade.
Which is probably like 15 double plays in a row. But yes.
Right. A little Carlos Correa double play. Yeah. They're close to, for me, they're close. If they could trade Cat, they're bumping up past the Wild.
That's correct.
Because another reason, Glenn Taylor is still the owner, technically still the owner. Glenn Taylor can't be second on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Ownership is part of this list, and Glenn Taylor is one of, if not known as the worst owner in the history of sports. And so Glenn Taylor is not going to be number 2 on this list, and the Wolves, until they trade Cat, are not going to be number 2 on this list. The Twins are 4th, and this is where it gets juicy. You've been waiting. I'm going to let you rant. This rant is to sort of involve what this team has been doing all year, I'm assuming. And I'll probably agree with most of it, disagree with a little bit of it, but I'm going to let you go.
Yeah, so this front office hates continuity unless it's our worst players. Unless it's Kepler, unless it's Vasquez. They hate it. They hate playing guys in the same position days in a row. I'm so sick of it. They refuse to bring up, they brought up Wallner, but they're not playing him now. They refuse to cut bait on terrible veterans with bad contracts like Kepler and Gallo. And they don't want to bring up a guy who's just crushing AAA and Wallner. And
it should be noted real quick, and I'll let you go. It should be noted that in the MLB, managers and front offices are basically linked together, and a lot of the decisions come together.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes, that is a really good point. Where was I? Yeah. It's against the rules to play a lefty batter against a lefty pitcher. You can't do that. This manager in this front office refuses to even acknowledge that. So are you telling me that Julian and Kirilloff, 2 of our best hitters who see the most pitches, right? They take the best at-bats in the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that they wouldn't have better at-bats than, I don't know, Kepler and Farmer, who's been playing well lately. Kepler and Farmer, at bat after at bat, game after game against a lefty. It can't get worse. And how are these lefty young hitters, 24 and 25 years old, that are supposedly in our future plans, going to get better at hitting lefties when they never face them? It's ridiculous to me. It's way too analytical. I'm just so sick of it. Royce Lewis, hopefully, he looked amazing. You know how big of a fan I am of Royce. Yep. The month he was, healthy, he's coming back in probably 2 weeks. But the reason I liked it so much is because we had some continuity at third base, at shortstop, and Kirilloff at first base. And Polanco's been injured, which has sucked. But they hate continuity. All these utility guys, no, Rocco loves to, be flexible on the bench, pinch hit guys. It's like, you know what? I don't like hearing that. Look, I've told this to you before. Look at the Astros. Look at the look at the old Yankees teams that were winning World Series. I mean, look at who else? Look at the Red Sox in 2018. You know where guys are going on the field every game.
Mm-hmm.
I know where I'm batting. I know where I'm going. Bregman's got third base. Correa's got shortstop. Altuve's got second base. It's like they know what they're doing. They know where they're batting. And that's why this hasn't led to wins. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
Go.
I agree. My bigger issue with this team is their approach.
That too.
Like baseball-wise, approach at the plate. Like for the years now, it worked for 1 year. 2019 forced this front office and manager to believe that that was the correct way of playing baseball.
Oh my god!
To try to the whole bit of home run or strikeout.
And guess what? It doesn't work. The juiced ball.
A bunch of 8 of the top 10 teams in the league are, or there's some stat. The highest batting average teams are the best teams.
Mm-hmm.
Watching baseball, I would much rather see a bunch of Luis Arias players than Joey Gallo. Joey Gallo is tough to watch. I mean, 1 in every 20 at bats, he'll hit a dong. But other than that, he's swinging at high cheese, swinging at stuff in the dirt. And then the right now, Rocco's, they're getting so mad at the players for swinging at everything. Now you're seeing players just watch strikes go by them. So now they're in the middle. And now I don't see a ceiling on this offense. Their ceiling isn't that high to me.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going to somehow start hitting way more home runs. The way their lineup is constructed is for power or nothing. That's quite literally it. They have way too many players like that. They don't run the bases. They don't steal bases.
Willie Castro.
Willie Castro does it, and Michael A. Taylor does it.
Manufacture runs. The game's been played for 150 years, but they refuse to acknowledge any other way to score runs. Stealing bases, bunting, sack flies. They don't want to do any of that. Nope.
Small ball.
The only way you
against
can win is if you hit home runs, because we did it in 19 with the juiced ball, and we still won 0 playoff games. So, we're going to stick with that. That's what we're going to do every single year. I'm just so sick of it.
There's one person I think we should give credit to.
Yeah.
Pete Mackey.
Yes.
I mean,
the pitching has been better, okay?
The pitching staff, the starting rotation. Now, while I don't feel like it's very super sustainable. I'm scared because if this pitching staff falls apart, our team is going to be dreadful.
Oh yeah.
Pablo Lopez. I don't know what to think of him. I think he's
looks
I think
great
he's got
against the Royals, John.
He's got a high ceiling and he's got a low floor.
Ober has been our best pitcher. I've texted you. Ober has been our other than Sonny Gray, I guess, Sonny Gray's been pretty good. I mean, let's be honest. But after him, Ober has been our best pitcher. And I can't believe I'm even saying that because before the season, he wasn't even on the team. But that is one thing you could say is that the front office has finally addressed the pitching. I mean, it's only taken 25 years, and they've been here for 7 years. So it's only taken them 7 years to finally address the pitching. But another thing is they're playing Vasquez every day, who before yesterday had 1 home run in, 50 games. And Jeffers, who has been actually really good this year, a pleasant surprise. But nope, they don't want to play to win. Every day I look at these lineups. I text you and I text my uncle, and I'm shaking my head where it's it's hard to be a fan of this team right now when you continue to play Kepler and Vasquez, when you have Julian and Kirilloff. Well, this is against lefties. So it's why are you playing Kepler against a lefty who's 30 and also sucks against lefties versus Julian and Kirilloff, who are 24 and 25, who need reps against lefties, who are better hitters anyway? I don't understand it. I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if Kepler doesn't get traded at the deadline. It feels inevitable. It really I don't know. Matt Wallner is right there. I hope they try and trade for a good bat. I think there's a chance they do if they win going into the deadline. If they're in a decent position, dream would be Paul Goldschmidt.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But I don't know. I don't know what we can. Oh, I thought Buxton hit a home run. Never mind.
Well, how about the trade for Malley, who we damaged goods Malley.
Yep, that was a bad trade.
For a really good prospect, Spencer Steer, who's tearing it up as a rookie for the Reds now, who 850 OPS, and Christian Encarnacion Strand, who is also one of our best prospects, who just got called up today. For Malley,
that was maybe the worst trade they've made in their tenure. Falvey and Levine.
How do you not do your homework? He literally he pitched 5 times for us over 2 years, and after the 5th start, Tommy John time. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Our bullpen is a little scary. Like, I don't have the whole bullpen in front of me right now, but it feels like even Duran, like lately Duran's been getting knocked around a bit. Yeah. I'm not concerned about him yet. And Brock Stewart, once he gets back, I like Brock Stewart. But besides him, like Griffin Jax has been a little better.
Yeah.
Pagan, I can't trust him.
Low leverage.
Caleb Thielbar, I still don't know what to think of him. I feel like he's a home run away from at every batter. Like at any batter, I could see them just ripping one of his curveballs. Who else do we got? Like Ortega, young Ortega guy, Cole Sands. Like, I don't know. We got these guys.
How many pitches was it for Sands in the last?
Oh my God, that was bad. I mean, he was just eating it.
It was batting practice.
The point is, they have 1 or 2 reliable bullpen arms, and that's an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe 3
issue
if you give Griffin Jax the benefit of the doubt, because he has figured it out. He has figured out that he can't just throw meat hook sliders in every single time. Like, use your fastball. I'm smarter than that. So I don't know if they try and get a bat or if they try and get an arm and a deadline. I would hope they try for both, or just choose one and try and get a really good player. Yeah. I don't know. That's my hope. They're not bad enough to tank and sell Sonny Gray. They're also not good enough probably to try and grab a super good player, because it probably won't put them over the edge. So they're in a weird position, but
just win the Central and hope you get hot. That's what I got to say.
I will say, and I've said it all year, this team is more primed for a playoff win.
That's true.
Or a playoff run than any team in the past. Just because if your pitching is bad like it has been, it's not going to somehow get good.
Right.
It's more likely that hitting could get hot than pitching somehow getting hot. That doesn't happen. So
I agree.
I think if they get a good matchup, which right now would be the Orioles, which would be tough, but winnable, or it would be the Blue Jays, maybe
Astros.
If the Orioles somehow got ahead of the Rays, which I think they're only a game behind or something, we'd have to play the Rays.
We would lose.
We would get swept.
Yeah. I think we could beat the Orioles in a game. I think we could probably beat the Astros, honestly.
Yeah.
Blue Jays, I don't know. That scares me.
Blue Jays lineup is just as scary as it gets, but it's overrated. They're an overrated baseball team.
They always seem to perform well when we play them. I don't know what it is. But yeah. The rest of the season shall be interesting. I'm sure we'll be going to a game probably this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see. They play the White Sox. They're playing the Mariners. We are recording this. It's the top of the first inning. Alex Kirilloff is in a full count right now with Julian on second base. So, Jackson, thank you for joining me tonight. We will be back soon to talk about whatever is happening. Hopefully, it is Karl Anthony Towns being dealt. Otherwise, it could be more Twin stuff. I do promise this time. I promise that we'll be back doing more of these episodes.
Yes.
In the near future. Please
wrap it up.
Yes, like and subscribe to the podcast. Thank you for watching. If you're follow us on the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram. Follow Jackson. I don't know what his handles are.
Force Jackson on Twitter.
Yep. For Twins takes and Wolves takes and Vikings takes. Training camp starts soon. That should be fun. But thank you, Betty. Yes, thank you everybody for listening, and go Twins.